Okay. Yeah. I'm on. Yeah, if I'm gone, I'm going in a blaze of glory. Middle finger to the niggas that did nothing for me. Revolutionary suicide, Malcolm X. I ain't tripping off niggas, it's on that stupid shit. I be on that militant minded, that revolution shit. I spit the real, niggas better get used to this. I kill beats and murder whatever booth I'm in. I ain't talking peace, I ain't on that Martin Luther shit. Cause when you black, they bust you no matter who you
Yo, this your boy Tay from the Bay.
It's your boy The Real Tay.
You know what I'm saying? It's another episode of Powder and Dollar. Lots going on this week. You know what I'm saying? A few arguments, a few controversies. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna delve into some of it tonight.
Right.
The first subject we got to talk about today is this kind of back and forth between Dr. Umar Johnson and Kevin Samuels. You know, how do you feel about it, Tay?
I feel like, man, it's just in the fucking way. And I say in the way because they really don't have no business addressing this shit. Like, this is a fan war, man. It's just fan of both sides trying to figure out a way to create some dissension. These niggas not even on the same platform. And you know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of both, but I feel like Kevin Samuels should have took it upon himself to not even have addressed it. It was like, you know, we're really on both sides, bro. Like, that shit really wasn't worth addressing. Y'all not speaking on the same shit. Y'all don't have the same goals and agenda. If a nigga speak up and tell me that he don't like the way that I address women or some shit, you know, whatever. You feel me? I ain't heard Kevin Samuels disrespect a woman as far as like what he calls her. I get that we feel a way about it, but that ain't the same. You feel me? Like, I don't know why the conversation even comes up with, and as women that are speaking too, bro, like that are fans of Umar, you feel me? And they want to be addressed a certain way. Because what the fuck he even talking about. So it's one of them beefs that I don't understand, bro. Like, you know, granted, I get if Kevin Samuels was battling with fucking Derrick Jackson or some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas who on that platform of like, hey, let me do, and I say this shit lightly because like I told you, I've become a fan lately. But in the beginning, it would have been like, yeah, it's just these group of niggas who gonna do sucker shit, gain following from women and shit. And even though them niggas are totally on different ends of the spectrum as far as like the information they presenting, I think that's more in line than fucking Umar coming into that shit because see the beef. I don't see how it should have became beef, right? Granted, now that it's here, of course, defend your shit and do whatever you need to do for what you feel is your respect on your platform. Both of them niggas on a whole nother level of reach and influence than I know personally, but that ain't no shit I feel like the shit even been addressed by two grown ass fucking men. You know what I mean?
Right. I feel like it was a beta move on both ends if we want to talk about beta shit, right? I mean, for one, when somebody says something about, compared Kevin Samuels to Dr. Umar, as you say, that he should have kind of just, brushed that to the side. His response was a little catty. You feel me? The dude kind of went in on him for a second, and then I think he kind of caught himself and said, no offense against Umar, I don't got nothing against Umar, but you can't go, you're talking about the nigga that got all these kids and the nigga that still ain't built his school. You can't do that and then couple that with, but I ain't got nothing against him. You know what I'm saying? So he shouldn't even said nothing to bro about that. The beta move.
I think the statement I have nothing against him. I think that statement of him saying I got nothing against him was all sarcasm. I don't even take that as him really meaning that shit. It's just him being able to
segue into more insults and making that shit funny. Because bro intelligent, man. I don't feel that nigga's gonna make them type of mistakes in how he present information.
No, I don't doubt that he probably got something against Umar. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that he's bothered by the way the females take that kind of shit in. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with Derrick Jackson's and whatnot. I think you kind of it's not assisting him with the direction that he feels like things should go. So if every time you get on a line, a woman saying, why don't you talk about us like him? Why don't you do this like him? Why don't you do this like him? I could see it pushing you outside of your you know, the way that you would usually conduct yourself. So I don't disagree that um, he probably feels some type of way about Umar, but I do think that he caught himself kind of going in a little bit more than he expected. Most of it should be live, so you really can't take it back. You know what I'm saying? Once that shit's put out, you really can't take it back. I haven't seen him respond after that either.
Which probably won't, bro. I feel like you was about to make a comparison, and I want to go back to it because we kind of moved right past.
Well, yeah.
It.
So I'm about to make a comparison in terms of beta-ness because in Dr. Umar's response, he responded with any black man that makes a black woman feel quote unquote unhappy, you shouldn't make black women be unhappy. And that's just not true. Nobody's above reproach. Nobody's above critique. And critiquing people is a sign of love. Right. Because you let people do fuck shit when you don't love them. You know what I'm saying? When you wish to gain something from people. See, people got it fucked up, right? You be honest with your friends. The people you love, we talked about love a few episodes ago. You feel me? When we talk about like agape, right, which is unconditional, but which is like love and fullness, right? So it's like, if I love you, I want you to be good. I want you to do good for yourself, regardless of if I'm not in your life, right? If I'm not in your life no more, if that means, hey man, hanging around me ain't good for you, so keep from around me so you do better. That's what that is. And a lot of people conflate that with, I want somebody to like me, so I'm not going to really be real with them. I'm not going to be real with my friend about their problems or what's going on with them that they need to fix, because they're going to get mad at me. And so you'd rather have your friend fucked up and good with you than better and not fucking with you. And that's not love. And that kind of sounds like the statement that I feel like Dr. Umar would say. I don't want to see black women unhappy. But sometimes the things that make you, when your baby want to eat candy all night, that make them unhappy. Does that mean you should give them candy? No. And I think that was kind of a catering move. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to cater to the women. So I have things that I agree with in terms of both.
But you compared you. So is that what we call it, beta though? You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's just
it was a simping ass comment, bro.
It's just feminine to me, because I can't reasonably, within like knowing how adults work and how we are all different, and there's varying degrees of how we all operate within our communities and within like being, within adulthood, I'll say. I don't necessarily consider beta to be any less of a man than alpha. I just think they have different roles or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, that shit was just feminine to me. Like, that was, you called it catty, the exact same shit. It was like some shit that I expect a chick to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily know that if you say, hey, Michael Jordan, LeBron said he the greatest. Like, I don't think that nigga's about to address it to a point where he want to call out personal shit or try to make little jabs at the nigga. You kind of state your piece and you keep it the fuck moving, bro. Like, well, shit, I got more of this or more of that, and this is what I do. And you keep it moving. But you don't just necessarily try to take little short-handed ass attacks at the nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what made it just kind of like a feminine thing to me. I couldn't even make it an alpha or beta thing.
Well, so I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on how you see beta, right? Or maybe I'm using it in a more colloquial kind of, like opposite of masculine or opposite of alpha move. It was kind of a feminine move, which would be, beta move. So maybe I'm conflating alpha and masculine, and feminine and beta. Maybe they don't necessarily mean the same things, but that's
I get it.
the phrasing in which I was using. So let's take the beta thing off the table. But so I agree with you, right? It's more of it's seen real feminine on both ends. I would say that um, Kevin Samuels definitely started it in that sense. And even in his response, Dr. Umar didn't really go in and say, you know, Kevin Samuels, this, that, and the other. He kind of attacked the whole manosphere in the way that they're speaking upon women. And I feel like he used beta in the same sense because he said that these are beta males, you know.
Right.
And he's using it in terms of, you know, feminine, like a non-masculine ideology. But I just don't think, you know, coddling for sake of smiles and happiness is the most alpha shit or the most masculine shit either. It's very passive, it's very subservient, and that would be argumentatively beta.
I think that's like, but I think that shit is worldwide, bro. And I think it ain't specific to men in the direction of the way we treat women. Niggas do it to niggas. Women do it to women. That shit is more in line with just the fact that our whole culture in the world right now, when people reach out and when people say anything about their personal concerns or about what they feel is a real issue, or even the things that we want to correct and fix within ourselves, a lot of motherfuckers reach out because they want sympathy. Like they want sympathy and they don't want correction. You know what I'm saying? Like they want you to say, oh man, that's so sad, and hug them and shit, but they don't want you to give them like the real information about why it's that way. You know what I'm saying?
They don't want the real.
Yeah, so that stretches with everybody, bro. I don't necessarily want to like make it a single man versus woman type issue or a black man versus black women type issue. That's everywhere, man. That's motherfuckers even with their kids and shit. That's kids talking to their parents. Some of that shit comes out of fear because a lot of times you get told and get given information about yourself that maybe you're not prepared to receive. And granted, I can remember times where somebody gave me information about myself and I wasn't ready to receive it. And all it does, you know, it creates some type of aggression within yourself. You don't know necessarily how to take the information, and you don't want to hear it from somebody else, because a lot of us want to know that, especially if now this is in the realm of that alpha beta shit. As an alpha, you don't want to know that there's a shortcoming in how you approach and do anything without yourself noticing it. Like you want to be able to say, oh shit, I didn't do this, I got it though, and you fix it on your own. You don't want to hear it from somebody else. You don't want to know that somebody sees a weakness within whatever it is that you're doing. Sometimes you just gotta have that shit, man. And well, it's not to say that there's a fault in it, but it's a thing though.
The difference is this, right? The difference is this, right? That the true issue is this. I think we spoke about it previously when talking about, you know, working and jobs and everything, right? So what we have is groups of women that claim independence, but majority of these women are receiving, black, white, or other, are receiving, you know, like government aid and things like that. So they're not independent, right? That's one. The thing about the males are, a lot of these males are. So even if they're wrong, they're not calling somebody else to come save them and protect them after they get found wrong, right? It's like your girl go out and get fucked up and wasted at the club. And then, you know, she call you because she's sloppy and she can't handle her liquor. And then you got to go pick her ass up off the ground or save her from getting raped or molested by some nigga in the bar, right? And then the next time she want to go out, she call you, what's it called, self-conscious, or that you know what I'm saying, something like that, because you don't want her to go out. And it's like, nah, you just don't know how to handle your liquor. You get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And it's that same thing. You can't claim independence when things go wrong, you calling on men or males to come fix your problems. That they don't really go together.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
We didn't come. So in our community, we didn't come to the idea of independence together. They were given an idea of independence from somebody who was able to control how independent they were. And that's the motherfuckers who control that government assistance. You feel me? So when an entity comes in and they say, hey, I got a way for you to be independent of your man, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pay for your house and I'm gonna give you money towards this. I'm gonna get your groceries, but he can't be in the picture. They got painted a picture of independence from somebody that's not us. You feel me? And we got painted a picture of independence by straight up fucking falling in the dirt and grinding out that shit. You feel me? Because I don't know niggas out here who got Section 8. You feel me? I don't know a lot of niggas who got their kids independent of the person that birthed them. You know what I'm saying? So niggas is more apt to have to get that shit from the mud with no assistance. And that just means really go get a fucking job, figure this shit out, learn how to hold on to your money and pay your bills and shit. It ain't got shit to do. But the options are there for women because that idea of independence has been painted for them, and it ain't had shit to do with us as black men and how we relate to them.
I don't disagree with that, right? But at the same time, it is what it is. So you explaining why it is that way don't change that it ain't independent. And so just because they've been painted that picture that it is independent, when a guy like Dr. Umar, or I'm sorry, not Dr. Umar, like Kevin Samuels speaks up about these things and tells you the real that's not independence, right? And then now the women get mad because they told the truth. Dr. Umar is saying that's bad because you made them feel sad. Not that the things that they feel are wrong in the first place, which is why they feel sad by the truth.
I'm not gonna say it's wrong.
It is wrong.
I'm not gonna say it's wrong, but I'm gonna say it's not in line with you presenting information contrary to that belief. If you feel like your worth is and what you had to do independently are different than that, then that's wrong. You feel me? But if you've made the livelihood that you exist in based off of that, then exist in it. Because there's way too many women out here who aren't trying to speak up and say, hey, I want to claim independence and I think I deserve this and I deserve that, for me to just discredit the fact that they become accustomed and learn to exist within that without speaking up and making a ruckus about it. I can't include the bitches who wanna take all that shit and then pretend like that was self-fault, fucking freedom and independence. You know what I'm saying?
But you gotta look at the reality. I mean, it might be a loud few, but that's the voice that's being heard right now. You feel me? Maybe it's more that are accepting the reality than aren't accepting the reality.
It's a whole lot more. I mean,
I can't say that, right? But I know that. But I know that.
Who do we hear from though? If we hear from the little 120 bitches who make it on Kevin Samuels or Umar or anything social media where we can actually hear it, you got to understand that there's still fucking 1.4 billion. I mean, 1.4 million that are still unheard because they just under the radar doing what they need to do with the assistance as they take it. Like they're not making it a thing. You feel me?
Right.
The select few that publicize it,
but we can't make that assumption. That's an assumption.
We can't make the few people that we see and hear on social media the voice of all the motherfuckers who are living through this shit though.
I feel you on that. But let's not sit here and act like us as black men in this world dealing with black women on a constant basis that's not what we hearing. Like, let's not sit here and act like the women that we do know that's getting out here and got sugar daddies or got baby daddies that's still in the picture and maybe not married to them, but they watch their kids when they supposed to. They take care of their kids. They'll be out here claiming I'm a single mother. You're not a single mother. You a co-parent, right? Or the ones that got sugar daddies just showing themselves on trips and not showing who the fuck they on the trip with. Like, let's not sit here and act like there aren't an abundance of black women. And I know it's anecdotal, right? But there's not an abundance of black women that we see on a regular that flex as if they're on this level of independence that they're just really not on.
I don't dispute that. And I also recognize it as an unknown because sometimes I don't know personally. You feel me? Like I personally know women who may fall into those categories, but there are also women that I don't necessarily know enough about those situations to even play it like that. You feel me? Like I know, all right, boom, boom, but I don't know enough about your situation, and I'm not in a position to really question you about it. But you know, maybe a bitch is doing that, or maybe this is one that's not doing it. Like I just don't know enough women in that livelihood to really make a judgment call. But you're absolutely correct. There are motherfuckers that's out here doing that shit and showing off the baby daddy's expenses as if it were their own. You feel me? And there's also that wave of women who want to let you know, like, yeah, no face, no crime, but I'm gonna show you how I'm living. Like, okay, you gonna let niggas know that somebody doing it for you, but I mean, because that's a wave right now. There's bitches who are proud of that. So you're right, Dad. I'm not gonna knock what you're saying about it.
Well, even the ones that are proud of it, right? Um, you know, like the whole city girl ideology, like get it from a nigga, won't. You feel me? That's just as bad as and then claiming independence. In my opinion, is just as bad as a whole macking and pimping culture where a man is getting everything from a female and acting like they a man working for their dollars. You know, it's just as bad. You feel me? Um, Probably, I mean, honestly, you know, the male thing is probably worse. But um, you know, just acknowledge that you're doing it with help, be it direct help or otherwise. You know, a lot of these women wouldn't be sustaining life if it wasn't for men or a man. I mean, when something go wrong and you call 911, ain't nobody expecting, you know, a car full of female police officers to roll up on you. You feel me? When your house on fire, you're not expecting a engine full of female firefighters to roll up on you. That's just not what you expected. And when you do see it, you're thrown off. So even when you do these things, you know, a lot of female, they calling a man to come to help them, save them, do this, do that. Um, if they get jumped out here in the middle of the street, they're gonna call a group of niggas. So you know the ideology of or the idea that you don't need no man, blah 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 blah, which is the kind of argument that Kevin Samuels is trying to destroy, is false. So I mean, we can talk about Kevin Samuels. You can talk about his character. We could talk about how you don't feel like he says what he says in the nicest way. You could talk about how you might think he gay. Any number of different things. But is what he's saying wrong? That's the question. You can say that he's making black women sad. Is what he's saying wrong? So that's very important because everything else is ad hominem, right? You're attacking a character, you're attacking a tone. You need to be attacking an argument. And I can't see nobody validly attacking his arguments because his arguments are correct. You might not like his solution, but he gives a solution. You might not agree with the solutions he gives, but he gives solutions. So it ain't just sitting
I don't
here.
know nobody attacking the nigga outside of those specific videos. Watching the videos where he telling the chick that she's not, you know, at enough value to be making the demands that she's making. That's the only time I've ever heard anybody attacking the nigga. Any other time when you watch him having a full-on discussion where he's presenting the facts and presenting the numbers and the shit that you can actually Google and verify, I haven't heard anybody attack those videos, bro. And there's a lot of head nodding and understanding of what the nigga's saying once you actually listening. It's just a bunch of beef and drama with the initial introduction to who this nigga was. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my initial introduction, I was like, man, I ain't about to listen to this nigga. You feel me? Like, but I wasn't in disagreement with what he was saying, but it was just like, come on, bro, this some. To me, it just felt like it's one of them things because I'm not necessarily the listener, follower, and guide me kind of nigga.
Right.
So, you know, my inclination is to turn this shit off. Like, yeah, all right, bro. It's the same way when niggas is out here getting self-help books and want to listen to Harper Hill and shit like that. Like, I'm not able to operate that way, and I don't want another nigga's opinion about how and why shit should exist and go the way that it goes. So I turn that shit off. It took for me to listen to this nigga having a regular conversation in a room full of men where it was like, look, bro, I'm not saying this shit because I want to be mean, but, you know, what I'm saying is backed up by fact. And it was shit that, you know, I could pause a little video and go Google something like, yeah, he said this about percentages of marriage in our community, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I ain't saying numbers is directly spot on, but if he said it was 85%, it was 83. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
Bruh's done research. This ain't just opinionated ass subjective arguing just for the sake of being able to say some shit and get notoriety. So I understand it. You feel me? But I still be like, you know, Madam
So I wouldn't.
Samuels or whatever. But I don't knock his argument no more. You know what I'm saying?
So I would argue that they're not in two different rounds. I mean, in a sense they are, right? I mean, I would say that Umar is more along the lines of to children. You know, he talks a lot about psychology of children and the, you know, school to prison pipeline and medicating kids and so on and so forth. And I feel like if you ask him other questions, of course he will answer. But we're both on the line. They're both on the lines of how to fix a nuclear black family. Which is one of our biggest issues in our community. And I feel like almost every issue in our community can go back to that. So I would say that they are kind of similar. If you're talking about uplifting, I would say Kevin Samuels might not particularly agree with that, because initially he was more speaking to women or about women, and slowly but surely, I think because of the amount of black women that called in or had opinions of this, that, and the other, or honestly, it might be just based upon what's popular. You know, he's kind of honed in on black women, I think a little bit more than he was initially. But you know, at this point in time, I think they're both on the same wavelength when it comes to, you know, trying to heal the black family in the way that it can. Honestly, I'm falling off on the Umar situation, you know, because I'm all about, you know, ADOS and whatnot, and he wants to kind of lump everybody into one box. You know, we are all kinfolk, but we all not dealing with the same stuff. And we definitely not all dealing with the same stuff in this country. And I think he got to see that a little bit more when he kind of felt a type of way about London Bro, who portrayed Fred Hampton, and kind of his response to some questions that was given about Fred Hampton or about the character. And he kind of like, you know, tried to answer real PC. And Umar felt a kind of way. And my response to that is, what do you expect from somebody from a country that can't relate to the things that we went through here, especially as
that's not fair though, bro.
Especially as not only being from another country, but not even being a descendant of slavery. I think that is fair. He's like a first generation. Fair. He's like a first generation fair, London
because what we battling at that point is just historical data, but them niggas face racism the same way that niggas in our age group face racism. It's not like we can speak back, bro, but those niggas deal with the same type of racism. It might not be as violent as we want to speak about it over the course of time, because definitely nobody's going comparatively be able to say they dealt with the centuries of the shit like the way that it went on here. But brown people in any of these countries that were predominantly
brown people
owned and operated, you feel me, by a whole nother.
You said brown people.
Brown,
like the color brown, not black folks, not descendants of Africa. But
I mean, if you want to jump in and make it more specific, but I think they're very clear on what I'm talking about, though. So I'm not gonna play that game back and forth, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So if we're speaking about
I don't know if I know
who are, because these niggas haven't even been washed down the same way. You feel me? Like these ain't like niggas with varying fucking degrees of fucking heritage. Like there's no niggas over there who like, yeah, well, my people was fucking Haitian, or I'm here, or I got this, that. These niggas is that migratory pattern, nigga, came straight from the continent. You feel me?
Yeah, but it's not the same, bro. It's not the same at all.
Like what are we speaking about though? Are we speaking about just timing and shit?
I mean, a lot of it just does have to do with timing, right? Like it has to do with the fact that Africans in London. So there's a great book called Black London. Black London is written by this chick, some Gretchen something, right? If y'all can find it, look it up, right? But what it talks about is the differences between, and this is prior to emancipation. So what it talks about is the differences of things that was going on in America and how slavery and racism was different in London. You were talking about the 18th century England, right? So we're talking about around the same time, right? 1700s, 1800s, talking about all that, right? Prior to emancipation of slaves in America. Okay, so what you're talking about is at the same time when chattel slavery was going on in America. At the same time chattel slavery was going on in America, white women and black men was walking down the street holding hands in London. Across the street from, right, a white woman that had a little black boy on a leash. So you had black bars, black, places that the slaves or quote unquote indentured servants can go and have fun and restaurants. There was no Jim Crow post slavery when slavery got abolished. You feel me? That's another 200 years of that kind of shit. So it's a completely different history. You had white men from America going over there and complaining about how they thought it was disgusting when they saw this black man and this white woman married with a little mulatto kid. So we can't compare the history. It's completely different. They've been doing things and they might get called whatever the fuck they get called, but even in that, we're talking about descendants of slaves. We're not talking about African immigrants. We're not talking about people whose parents came from the continent and then moved to London, who knows what time, generally around the 80s. So no, they might walk down the street and get called a name. They might get, or something like that. But you're talking about genetic PTSD, traumas passed down through genes.
To what extent of racism have you dealt with outside of being called a name?
You talking about me personally?
Yeah.
Tons of it, bro. What you mean? I've been.
Have you been physically assaulted for this shit?
Yes. I've been physically assaulted by the police.
I've never been physically assaulted, dog. And there's a gang of people who haven't been. I'm not discounting your argument. Let me preface this shit by saying that. Like, I'm not going against it. But what I'm saying is the majority of motherfuckers in age group right now who are able to listen to what we saying right now have not readily experienced it to a point where it actually altered their fucking transition from one place to another in their life. Now, granted, there are battles that have been fought with employment or, you feel me, certain shit involving law enforcement or government entities, but aside from that, niggas has only really been facing verbal altercations, and shit that they read and view on social media.
So
for the generation that's listening to what's going on right now, but niggas ain't. I haven't experienced the shit outside of being verbally called something.
Yeah, but that's anecdotal in itself, right? That's like me saying, this isn't happening because it didn't happen to me.
No, that's not what it's saying. It's saying that we don't have no real way of being. We can't quantify that. We can't make a number of that shit because we don't have enough information. You feel me? Like this, like it's not gonna be reported if it don't happen, right? So we can't say that it's still out here happening, but they just ain't saying nothing about it. You feel me? And I've never said that I've never dealt with the shit outside of it being a verbal thing. I'm not saying that it don't happen. Because I wouldn't discount the fact that niggas is actually going through that shit like that. But I gotta also understand that if I ain't experiencing the shit outside of what somebody's saying to me, there's probably other people who haven't experienced the shit outside of what somebody's saying to them. So I can't just discount the fact that that actually is a thing. I'm not gonna pretend like niggas ain't dealing with the shit. It's not it ain't happening because I didn't see it. I'm not. You feel me? But I don't want to just present the shit like, oh my nigga, everybody got to be dealing with this shit because motherfucker choked me out because I was black. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, niggas is dealing with that shit. Niggas is dealing with it on levels beyond that. There's niggas who are dead right now, and that's how they dealt with that shit. Like, we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can quantify a death. You feel me? We can put numbers on shit that happened, but the rest of that shit is spatial though. Like, it's the unknown.
So I guess I guess I'm just not understanding the argument. I mean, because they do polls, right? And they've done polls on people, asking about how many people, have been harassed or assaulted by police officers, so on and so forth. And that's all.
So if you had to do that poll,
that's all subjective, right?
If you had to do that poll, like, where would you gather your information from? Because I could tell you, if I had to do that poll and I had to present information, I would go to areas where I know motherfuckers have been harassed by police. And that's where I'm gonna gather my data from fucking rural Georgia, where, all right, this does happen, but this ain't even a place where police interaction with the public is enough to gather sufficient data to even make a fucking claim on it, though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's one.
So
That's
I'm gonna
one
go to
type. That's
Atlanta
one type of.
and
That's
even
one type of
further in Atlanta.
situation. That's one type of situation.
No, but in
I mean,
any
because
situation,
I mean,
situation, you pick where you want to gather your data from, though.
I don't disagree with that. You do pick where you want to gather your data from. Most of the polls and or data that's being gathered from substantial sources and so on and so forth, you know, you can find out that information. And they're not just going to one city. They're not going to this one city in the middle of fucking bumblefuck Georgia where they know all this racism happened and just asking people there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They go to different places. The arguments can be, you know, disputed with that kind of information. You know what I'm saying? And that information isn't being disputed. Nobody's arguing the information that's coming out in regards to the amount of black people that feel like they've been, you know, harassed by police officers. In fact, outside of that's just one realm, right? You want to talk about that? There's that. We can talk about murders by police officers. We could talk about crimes and the fact that we get stiffer penalties for the same crimes. We get higher arrests for the same crimes, and other things like that. That's just in relation to police officers. You feel me? So, you know, my whole point is this: I'm not debating that a first generation African man can experience racism. I'm not debating that, but how you grew up and how black people in America have grown up is partially a piece of that history of racism. So we can't discount. So we're talking about, you know, direct effect, right? Oh, I was beat up by a police officer, and then you're talking about the fucking rates of poverty in this country of black people, and net worth of black people in this country, education of black people in this country, the ghetto, just everything that's in the way in which this country's built. That has a domino effect on how we end up. So then a black person that came from Africa, parents who didn't experience the same kind of racism or the same kind of issue, depending on where you're from, obviously, if you're from South Africa, potentially, right? Their apartheids went on longer than ours did here in America, right? But, you know, if you're coming from a country that's been populated and ran by all black people for the last 50 to 100 years or whatever the fuck, and then they come here, it would be hard to argue that they would understand these systems in the same way that we understand these systems. And you can see it by the way that a lot of these immigrant black folks act. They don't. They don't even see us the same.
We're not. So I agree with you.
So at the end of the day, it's like my whole point to all this was just that, you know, Dr. Umar will argue that, you know, we all black, blah, blah, blah. You know, the whole ADOS aspect of the situation is just that there's something that black Americans are owed by this country, and there needs to be a distinguishment made between the people who are owed it by this country, and there are other black people who need to fight for those same reparations in their own country, potentially. But if your ass came here in the 80s from Africa, you're not part of that same heritage and that same lineage of lynchings and Jim Crow and slavery that we are. So you don't get reparations. And so that distinguishment needs to be made. That's why I'm for it. So don't act like it doesn't exist in one point, and then when somebody of that creed does something that you don't like, now you got a problem with it, when it's clear the reason why they do that is because they don't understand. That's my only point.
I understand. I don't dispute that at all.
But, you know, I mean, we are different, even though we all are family, you know what I'm saying, and related and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can go from any part of the diaspora. We're different.
Uh-huh.
Slavery was different in the Americas than it was from Jamaica and in, you know, Panama or Puerto Rico or wherever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? And so they have things that they still have to potentially fight for the people that owe them it in their country. And we have that same fight to go on here. And I think that distinguishment needs to be made. And Dr. Umar is against that. And I don't particularly agree with that sentiment.
And you know, on that end, I have my outlook on a lot of that shit is way different because I just kind of be like, my nigga, move forward. You feel me? For yourself, right? And I get that, you know, there are things that we should feel. I've never, let me say this shit correctly. I don't feel entitled to the fix from another person, right? So when there comes a point where I'm able to get out and get what the fuck out, I'm just gonna go do that. You feel me? And most people that know me, I mean, shit, you probably never heard me say no shit like that, but I never felt entitled to shit. You feel me? So when I look at it, I'm like, hey man, at this point, if we speak about what we owe by this country, like great, let's speak about it, but we can't make that our fucking like cause for shit. Like in the meantime, be doing what you need to do and stop relying on the fact that that's gonna happen at some point in time. That's a lot of faith in some shit that we don't necessarily control. And we've had enough conversation. I know you know how I feel about faith. That shit just ain't a real thing. You feel me? Like get out and do. In the meantime, and if some shit is meant to come your way, supposed to come your way, it'll come your way. But other than that, my nigga, you gotta operate though.
I don't feel like anything that's just supposed to come your way, you prepare. You know what I'm saying? What they say is luck is when opportunity meets it's the same. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. You feel me? Even when something comes your way, you have to be prepared for it. So you have to set up a foundation for yourself to even garner luck. Right. So I don't disagree with you. I don't feel entitled. If I were to bet money on it, reparations will never come. But that doesn't mean that we don't set up the foundation for it. You know what I'm saying? Are we all family of the diaspora? Yes, we are. But are we different? See, it's weird because a Jamaican can sit here and say they Jamaican all day, right? Even if they wasn't born in Jamaica, they American. And you know, Jamaican's a nationality, not an ethnicity. Right. And that motherfucker born in America, whose parents were from Jamaica, or not even their parents, maybe even their grandparents could have been from Jamaica, will sit here, an American citizen, born and raised, saying they Jamaican, right? But you can't do that the other way around, right? Like you looked at like a sellout if you black and you say you American. Ain't no difference from me being black with our 400 years here saying we American and you not even being from that other country that actually, I mean, in that sense is a difference, claiming you Jamaican. This is a nationality. It's a nation in which we're from. Jamaica, a nation in which you're from, or you have lineage to. So it's just funny how when we speak about America, the same things are looked at completely different. Completely different. I have no problem with a black man that say, "Oh, I'm American and represent for America." Me personally, do I flag and land of the free? Nah, not me. But I understand. I can understand the sentiment because we built this country. Literally, we built this country, and we've been here a lot longer than we built this. Right. We built this country, and we've been here a lot longer than a lot of white Americans have. Even your ex-president was first generation American. His pops was from what fucking Ukraine, like fucking Germany or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So you know, a lot of white Americans came here, you know, during the Industrial Revolution and shit like that.
Right.
You feel me?
But when they came, But when they came, the difference in how we came is that they came in ownership. You know what I'm saying? So, and I get why different people will look at it that way, because the waters are muddy over here. You feel me? There's not a person here that owns and dominates the population at any degree, from first, second, third, fourth in rank, that is from here.
But you can't
You know
say
what I'm saying?
they came over here in ownership. The Irish didn't come over here in ownership, and neither did the Italians. They didn't come over
You
here
feel like
in
the
ownership.
Irish and the Italians have less ownership than black people right now?
No,
I'm
we're not talking about right now.
I
We're talking
ain't
about
saying
when
they
they
came
came
over here
over.
owning shit, but they came over here and were put into those roles a lot faster and a lot more prevalent than black people. And not through hard work. You feel me? Like, this is, some of this shit came through elbow rubbing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't forced to work and build this fucking country and then slighted on what the fuck they were able to attain. The motherfuckers came into a situation where they were able to treat black people the same way as other white people and be immune to certain fucking punishments behind crimes that they committed, and were able to build up a lot faster and were able to attain wealth at a different rate than the people who actually were here building this motherfucker.
I would disagree with that as well, right? Because you could talk about there's stories of, or not even just stories of, there's histories of lynchings of Italian Americans, you know what I'm saying, in like the late 1800s, early 1900s. You feel me? So
there's lynchings of white people.
Italian people are white people. But
what I'm saying is they're standing in this country equivalent to a black man at the exact same age and opportunity. See, that's all I'm saying, is like, they weren't afforded the same backwards nature of fucking progression that the black people introduced to this country were.
Right.
Niggas didn't come over here willingly. That's just the start of the shit, right?
Right.
I had this conversation with a chick at work, and she was like, when people come into this country, like, if you don't want to come into this country, go back. And I was like, the crazy thing about you saying that is, according to my lineage, there was some motherfuckers who got brought over here on a boat, and it wasn't willingly. But the option to go back don't present itself to everybody, because there's a financial freedom that you have to have with it for yourself to even be able to make that as an option.
Right.
And this bitch looked at me and said, well, shit, I'm Irish, so my people came on boats too. I get it. You feel me? You completely amiss of the fact that what I'm saying is unwillingly. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You're descendants of people who came here to escape some shit and create a better situation. They created a better situation, but it wasn't based off of their hard work.
Right.
Not to the extent that a nigga who's able to own a house and own a car before the time of college education and before the time of what we quote unquote would consider to be equality and being able to do shit like that. There was niggas out here who did that shit and actually just grinded the fuck out and did it. You know what I'm saying? But I can't equate that shit to a fucking Irishman. So a motherfucker that came over here and you able to, not necessarily be viewed the same as your counterparts of what I consider your counterparts, because y'all all white. You know what I'm saying? But
they're all white.
You're granted certain fucking leg ups that I won't get. And that's with a higher level of education and a higher level of understanding and a higher ability. You feel me? So I don't necessarily say the same shit, but and it took a lot for me to just not say, man, low key, you don't even understand that you're racist. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even knock a motherfucker that's racist because is in our age group, these motherfuckers don't even understand that they are. You feel me? Like you have to point out in certain situations and in certain examples, you have to point it out. Like, you don't even know that you felt superior just then. You feel me? Like undeservedly though. You know what I'm saying? If it's a situation where you're better able and capable than a motherfucker that don't look like you, then granted, that's just what it is. But they don't even understand that shit because, like you said, if you give black people a genetic predisposition to the PTSD that has been experienced through generations, I feel like they have the same genetic predisposition to fucking entitlement that's just been experienced through generations. And I don't
agree
necessarily
with
think that. I don't think that a lot of people do it maliciously. You know what I'm saying? Like fairly enough. And I hate to say shit like this, but I think that a lot of people that we view and see as doing the type of shit that we're against, you feel me, or what we consider to be racism. I think that a lot of these motherfuckers, like the new age niggas, I ain't gonna say niggas, the new age white people, or people who come from a long line of people who look down on black people, like they don't know that they do it. And they feel like it's equal. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, yeah, man, I don't discriminate or blah, blah, blah. But it's like, yeah, you don't even understand that you're doing it because it's just that much ingrained into your fucking nature. Like, that's just who you are. So I don't knock a lot of people for the shit, but it just be shit, when you do it, though, I will say something about the shit and we can move forward from that.
I think that's a misnomer. I agree with you. I think there's a misnomer that goes around that racism is always coupled with hate, you know, and that's not necessarily true. It can
like
be
aggressive hate. It's always
or hate in general. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Racism is a superiority. You feel me? People who are racist have a inherent or feel as if they have an inherent superiority to you. There's a good movie. I want to say it's on Hulu, or it might be on Prime, but it's called One Night in Miami, right? And it talks about it's on Prime.
Yeah.
So it talks about this night when Malcolm X, Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, and Sam Cooke, kind of
all together.
We're all together, right, around the civil rights movement. And early on in the film, there's a real good scene to me where Jim Brown goes to go visit. I think it was like an old coach of his from his town, and you know that he's from in Georgia because he's from Georgia, and he's talking to this dude. You know, the daughter comes out and she's like, "Oh my God, it's Jim Brown, blah blah blah," and he's like, can you get your dad? His dad comes out, hugs him, tells the daughter to go bring out some cups of lemonade or tea or some shit. And they're outside drinking tea, and the guy is building them up like, you know, you're from here, and anything you need, you know, you can come here and you can talk to me, and you know, your aunt, you know, I miss her, and blah, like all this dope shit. You know what I'm saying? And because they go back. So toward the end of that, you know, kind of heartfelt little moment, the dude starts to go back into his house, and the daughter reminds him that she needs help moving something. So Jim Brown goes, you know, hey, well, you know, let me come in and help you. And the guy goes, no, that's okay. You know, I think I got it. You go do what you have to do. But, you know, also, you know, we don't invite niggers into the home. It was good seeing you, Jim. I'll talk to you later. Don't hesitate to give me a call. This dude had zero ill intent towards Jim Brown. You feel me? He just had an inherent feeling of superiority to Jim Brown. I like my dog. I love my dog. If my dog died, I might even cry. If somebody hurt my dog, I'll hurt them. But my dog is still my dog. And that's in a sense racism. Now, obviously, my dog is a dog and I'm a human being. I can't be racist or whatever toward my dog, but you know, maybe in 500 years, I'll take that back. I'll be looked at as a crazy now, but he owned a dog and now, but sometimes that's what it is, you know. Yeah, he's cool. I like him. I might even cry if he died, but he can't marry my daughter. He's black. He can't come in my home. He's black. What? He gets the same thing I get. I'm me and he's him. And sometimes that's what racism is. And so when people smile in your face and they hug you and they might even, you know, stand up for you in a fight, you know, that's not what they expect of racism or racist people. And they go, no, he's not racist. I got a white friend. Well, on a back burner, he's thinking all this, you know, superiority kind of shit. So
right. I don't
go on.
You know, I treat my dogs like me, man. So I got a minor disagreement with that shit. But that's neither here nor there. You feel me? But
you treat your dogs like you, huh?
Yeah. You want to get in the bed, dog. Like dead ass, bro. Never been.
Yeah,
I've never been
my
that.
dog, my dog don't get in my bed.
Yeah, I'm not even a cage nigga or a collar nigga, honestly. You feel me? There are leash laws in the state that have to be abided by, but
Hey, they're gonna look at you like a revolutionary in 500 years. When the dogs start taking over, they're gonna have a statue, a statue of the real Tay up there. He didn't. I remember back when he said on this podcast, he didn't believe in leashes, cages. To
you
all,
feel me? I'm
to
gonna be
man
like,
and beast is equal.
I'm gonna be like, what was Franco name on Planet of the Apes? Caesar was like,
Right.
hey, bro, you ain't gonna speak ill of my nigga though.
You're not gonna speak ill.
Bro held me down though. You feel me? I'm gonna be that dude, bro, because I you know, but that, I mean, that's personal preference type shit, man, and a lot of that shit comes behind how you handle your dog, because niggas had a little outside dog. So granted, your dog ain't allowed to do a lot of shit. Never had an outside dog. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you a house dog, bro. You're here. You're in here. This is your domain.
Right.
You know how that,
sometimes the house dogs, man. Sometimes the house dogs and the yard dogs, they don't really. They start beefing. You know what I'm saying? The outside dog called a house dog a house pooch. You feel me? Or some bullshit.
They should, because I'm not gonna let my dog come mingle with your fucking yard dog and get fleas and shit. Yeah. But I will say though, bro, because there's some shit that you'll do that I won't do. You feel me? If you came over and you like, yo, your dog, I'm scared of that nigga, I'm gonna be like, well, shit, you gonna have to go outside. I'm not gonna put the nigga in a room and block him off, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that you will as a consideration to your guests and shit, and it's appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Because your dogs seem a little more violent or whatever, but I'm not tripping about that shit because I ain't scared of dogs. You know what I'm saying? But like, you feel me? But if I ask you, like, will he bite you? Like, shit, he never did it, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate your honesty. You know what I'm saying? But I can tell you, like, my dog ain't gonna bite.
If it got teeth, it'll bite, nigga. It can bite, right?
Right.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, that all that shit comes back to relative nature of your fucking being, bro. In a situation, and you're prone and you're adapted, I'll say, living and believing. I don't necessarily feel like you wrong about your shit. You motherfuckers ride around with their Confederate flag on their truck. That's their. It ain't no different than me having a black fist on my shit. You can't. But what I won't let you do is let your circle dominate mine. You know what I'm saying? So we'll have that conversation if on someone else's civil rights and you know what I'm saying? But shit like that. But if you want to express and show your beliefs in the fact that you are a part of whatever that culture is that supports that, by all means, do your thing, dog. You know what I'm saying? But and I appreciate it because I know who the fuck you are when you pull up.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Like when Trump was in office, bro, I had no issues, right? Because all Trump did was put a mirror on this fucking country, and we was able to see what really was here. You feel me?
Yeah, we like to hide this fear of actually protecting ourselves. You feel me? Like we like to say what we would do. You know what I mean? Man, if that nigga do this, I do. But when we put in positions to actually do it, you never see that shit get done. You know what I'm saying? And I think the fear of these of allowing some of these folks to be who they are is that you might actually have to put hands on somebody. And we scared. I'm not gonna
scared
flex.
as fuck, dog.
We scared.
Our nature and what we taught growing up, whenever they speak about that like hypermasculinity, but that's black culture all the way through and through. You feel me? Because everything, and there's ways that me and you will joke around sometimes, and that's not acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Like we make the joke and laugh it off, but I don't feel like you're insecure in how you operate, and I'm not insecure in how I operate. So we make the joke and keep it the fuck moving, right? But I think we both know that there's opportunities for us to laugh and joke the same way we do with each other around a different group of niggas, and that becomes, oh, them niggas is fags. Like, nah, nigga, right. You feel me? So maybe you the fag, right? I don't necessarily know niggas' background enough or how they feel internally about certain shit, but I do know that if you're that fucking triggered about shit,
you might have had your booty hole touched when you was
you know what I'm saying? Like, or when you see a nigga with makeup on it do something to you, though, right? Like it excites you a little bit, and you want to fight that, so you fight it aggressively, vehemently. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to destroy the myth or you can't let anybody know there's something inside of you, saw something different there. So you gotta attack it aggressively. You gotta be ultra masculine about that shit. And it's like, my nigga, for what though? Like I didn't think that you wanted to fuck this nigga. Some reason you feel like it's a need for you to tell me that you don't want to fuck this nigga. I automatically gotta assume that maybe you'll fuck that nigga though.
Maybe you
know
will,
what I'm saying?
right?
Because I don't gotta tell a nigga. Any nigga around me, and a faggot walk up, it's like, all right, what up, bro? And we keep it moving. But I don't gotta walk away from that situation to be like, hey man, I just need to tell y'all I wouldn't have fucked that nigga.
Right.
You feel me? Because I assumed that you know that I wouldn't have did that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of how that goes back to how we protect what we feel like is our identity. You feel me? Because a lot of us jump out aggressively about shit that we don't need to jump. Like, I know that you black, bro. And I know that you may have an issue with racism in this country, but you don't have to aggressively state that shit when it's not pertaining to anything at all. You feel me? Like, I work with niggas and I've been around niggas and somebody pull up with the Confederate flag on their truck, and it's like, man, fuck that cracker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I beat his ass, he come over here and say something, and it's like, shit, why are you that aggressive about that shit, right? Like aggressive about pulling up the motherfucker that look like you out of circumstances that aren't conducive to his fucking progression. You feel me? Like, and that's just regular help, nigga. I'm talking about just help. You feel me? And I ain't saying give handouts to everybody, but before you aggressively go attack other motherfuckers for what, my nigga, in the meantime, you should have already been giving that handout to the motherfuckers who look like you that been needing the problem. Like, you can't live your whole existence just wanting to fucking fight niggas against you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because then you dwelling on the problem, not the solution. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and it comes back down to like when I'll say something to some people and they'll be like, you know, yeah, you know, I don't know if you want to come out and tell you, you know, I know, you know, there's some white folks over here and I know you hate white folks. I'm like, bro, I don't. And I really don't. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things I commend white folks on, bro. You feel me? On their ability to stay on code. You feel me? On if a nigga move into their neighborhood, they gonna wake up to a go home nigger on their fucking garage door. Like we need to do some of that shit. We need to do some of that shit, and we not doing it because I can't hate on a race of people trying to preserve their race.
Right.
Europe is small as fuck. You feel me? If Europeans didn't do what the fuck they do, they would not be here today. And we might think it's fucked up, but that's what's called self-preservation. And the only thing you can do is play the game. So if that's the game they playing, maybe that needs to be the game we play. I fully understand the idea of not hiring me over a white person because I'm black and they're white. I don't watch NASCAR. I don't go hunting and chew tobacco. Like our cultures are completely different. If I got to work with somebody tomorrow, I'd probably want to work with somebody more similar to me than somebody that I might have to step on eggshells for. I'm going to have a better rapport with that individual during the interview. I'm going to be able to associate with them a little bit easier. So when they go, oh, this white guy didn't hire me because I'm black and he's white, and he just don't like black folks. No, maybe he just really likes white folks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have to dislike you for that.
A little bit, I'd probably be more likely to fall in with some motherfuckers from here than you. Because there's shit that I do, not like, you know, daily do, but there's shit that I do and shit that I say in ways that I act that just are more in line with a country motherfucking white person than you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
because see,
nigga,
a lot of people
I'll
don't
throw a dip in and relax on that bitch and chill. And they're gonna be like, man, he don't need dip. We don't fuck with bruh. They say from California. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And see, a lot of people don't even put those things together because a lot of people ain't never moved from their town or their city, right? And so me doing that and me being around people like that, but we had people when I was in academy, we had northern white folks and we had southern white folks. And the southern white folks and the northern white folks ain't really click like that, bro.
No, they don't.
You feel what I'm saying? They ain't really click like that. some of the northern white folks was more cool with some of the black folks than they was with the white folks, right? And so a lot of this shit is just culture. Now the fact that they're in these positions to make these decisions, right, might stem from racism. You get what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna sit here and complain about it. You feel me? I think that we need to own more shit and hire more black folks.
See, right? That was
but we want to play the diversity card. We want to go when we get in that position, we're gonna be so I hire all POCs. Now you over there hiring Indians and Asians and all these other folks that don't hire you. And it's just the same, it's just the same thing.
Niggas are aggressive in talk. You feel me? But at our core, we're way more sympathetic, understanding, and accepting of shit than we.
Right.
And it's because we have to be though. And our culture from where we came from was an accepting understanding. And that's how they got tricked into the shit that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like believing motherfuckers when they say and believing in the greater good, believing that people are inherently not evil. You feel me? And there's a statement you made probably a year ago, you know what I'm saying? And it was about how I forget who you said it came from. It might have been like Stokely or some shit.
Yeah, but Stokely. I love Stokely, bro.
It was about how how one of our downfalls came from believing that good was gonna come from, evil people. Now that's a watered down version of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you know the exact quote.
But to let the people know, it was pretty much Stokely Carmichael said Dr. King's policy was nonviolence, and he thought we would gain freedom from white people. I mean, for black people by these nonviolent acts, and that when white people saw us suffering and having all these effects, then they would look in their heart and they would change. And he says, that's really good. The only thing is he made one fallacious assumption, and in order for nonviolence to work, the opponent has to have a conscience, and the United States has none.
Right.
Something around those.
So what I'm saying is that inherently our nature as black people, no matter how watered down it can get, you feel me, back to your core is to understand, coming to some type of agreement and work with the next motherfucker, no matter what they look like. Now, granted, through teachings and through our understanding and experiences in life, you can start to gather hatred. You can start to gather or dissension against the motherfuckers that are out to oppress and have malcontent towards you and your people, which is natural. You should have that. You know what I'm saying? That's you protecting you, preserving yourself, preserving your people or whatever. But at that token, I think that a lot of the shit that we deal with sometimes is because we feel like we should be a part and equal to shit. When in all actuality, bro, it goes back to me speaking about the resegregation shit. You feel me? And when I say that shit, I don't want, a lot of people, when I say it, they feel like what I'm saying is we should go back to all black schools and white schools and do this shit like that. But what I be wanting is the resegregation of the mind, right? I don't want you to feel dependent on what they've themselves and feel like you're owed an equal rights. I feel like we've been given enough opportunity, and I feel like we have enough resources to create our own fucking everything though. Retail, fucking education, blah, blah, blah. And it don't have to be exclusive, but it needs to be our own. You know what I'm saying? So, my nigga, I can't go out here and you for throwing fucking Molotov cocktails into Target because you mad because the owner of that motherfucker. When at the same token, bro, we can just make our own Target. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't got to be a situation, but I don't feel like the fight to want to be a part of somebody's shit that don't want us to be a part of it is a relevant fucking fight. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like we got to be able to differentiate and pick our battles a little more wisely because I don't know for sure. Like remember when that shit came out and it was like, man, we hate Arthur Blank because he got Home Depot and Home Depot was Republican. And it's like, my nigga, we about to align our whole motherfucking identity with a party though. You feel me? With a party that inherently was what the fuck we always believed in anyway. But I get it though, because if you go blue, you kind of go more handoutish, and that's what a lot of niggas are geared towards, because at this point we feel like we old and we supposed to be giving shit. But my nigga, I don't operate that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't know a lot of niggas that operate that way, because niggas ain't giving handouts. You know what I'm saying? I don't know a whole lot of niggas on Section 8 and getting all this fucking help from the government. The average nigga I know is on his ass until he works his way off of his ass. So why
I don't disagree that we are owed something, but what I do disagree is that you don't sit down and hold your breath. You feel me? Make things happen the best you can, and if you can make things happen, and in the meantime you're given something that you're owed, then that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? But us sitting down arguing with our oppressors about that don't have morals about what's morally correct is a waste of time to me. Now there are certain things that we can do. We can battle from within. So we can battle from within politics. We can battle from within the police and the judicial system. We can become more. There can become more judges, more black judges, and more black police officers, and more black lawyers. We can infiltrate these positions, but what we don't really understand is that there's a movie called The Departed, where Leonardo DiCaprio and some other
second best movie of all time.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon,
Mark Wahlberg, Matt Damon, and
Matt Damon.
It's crazy shit,
right, and basically, it's all about infiltration, So you got one dude that's part of some, Italian, some gang.
You talking about Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
And he sent Leo through school.
He sent Leo through school, and then to infiltrate. So he's a part of the system that he's meant to infiltrate. Nobody knows this, right?
The whole time Matt Damon was on the roster too.
Exactly. Matt Damon was on the opposite side in the gang by the police to infiltrate. Right. So they will send these people to infiltrate, right? The police will send people to infiltrate our situation. Right? We saw it in whatever that movie was called that I didn't watch with Fred Hampton, but we all know the story, right? Well, we should. Outside of that movie, if you found out that story from the movie, then you was one of them sleep niggas. But it's about infiltration. So they'll place somebody there to look like you, to be part of you, to argue the things that you're arguing, and people from the outside looking in might be calling him the same things that they calling you, but he can't look at that because he got a bigger picture in mind, and the bigger picture would be bringing your ass down, right? So there's a philosophy around that, right? And it's kind of like all for one or one for all. It's like, do you position yourself for the greater good, right? So we've all watched a movie like Django, the same thing, right? Django had to watch a couple of niggas die and then be like, they just niggas, for him to get where he needed to go so he could save a whole bunch more niggas, bring down the whole plantation and save his girl, right? Now, what was them niggas looking at him like when he was doing it? They was looking at him like a coon, like a traitor, right? But is it about your ego, or is it about the goal? And we don't know how to infiltrate. We got to talk about everything we're gonna do, what our plans is, because we so worried about what everybody look at us like or see us like, instead of just doing the job. And then seeing that the bigger picture might be seen later, might not be seen later, but the job will get done. So there's just a lot of things that we need to play the game to infiltrate. Everybody ain't got to know that you're playing the game. You feel me? And get in these positions of power to make change. Because once you're there, then you can go nana nana ha ha, like you know what I'm saying? You'd be like, ha ha, joke's on you, Chuck. You feel me? But they're never gonna allow you to get there if you pull all your cards. The county that I worked for in the fire department initially, there were two people, a black woman and a black man that was up for chief. The black woman came in there and talked about all things that she was going to change. And she had more, better, um, you know, experience and all this other stuff. The black man came in there and talked about, well, you know, gentlemen, you guys are doing a great job. I'm just going to keep everything, you know, pretty the same and just, you know, touch a little thing here, touch a little thing there. He got hired. She ain't got hired. She ain't get hired. And when he got hired, he's pretty much like the mouthpiece for them. She should have kept her mouth shut. Did what she needed to do.
Same way our presidency worked.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to control, bro. You're going to be able to control a black man easier than you're going to be able to control a white woman. That's how Obama got in there. You know what I'm saying? Like nigga, they get it. You feel me? Because you're striving to be the first of some shit. All right, bro, be our puppet. And niggas is, I ain't gonna say niggas, but there's a group of niggas out here who are more prone to coon activity.
Yeah, well, they just want to see a black face. That black face ain't got to speak for you. That black face ain't got to say they're gonna do nothing for you. They just want to see a black face.
That's it. And I'm talking about Jesus made a song about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you didn't gain nothing from that situation. And I'd be willing to wager a fucking paycheck or two that you gain more from the nigga directly after that who appeared to have nothing for you.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes. I agree with you.
Appeared to have nothing for you, but somehow managed to create situations where I log on to social media and see motherfuckers putting pictures. They're flourishing LLCs, you know what I'm saying, or they're increasing financial status over the last 4 years than they had done the previous 8. You know what I'm saying? But I don't necessarily knock it because beliefs are beliefs, and you know a lot of people have grown up in faith in something, so their faith won't waver no matter what that belief is in. So there's people who gonna roll and do it the way that they want to do it, and that's what their beliefs are. I don't knock it, but I challenge a lot of people to look at the fucking stats. My nigga, like, your growth has been exponential in the years of your hatred towards what the fuck was running your country, as opposed to any time before that.
Right. Yeah, we like mouth service. We like lip service. You know what I'm saying? People celebrate lip service and then nothing will happen for them. And then if somebody, you know, like the thing about Trump's a quote unquote businessman. He's not the best businessman, but he's a businessman nonetheless. All right. If you want to get voted in, the last thing you do is speak against the people that will vote you in.
Right.
Point blank, period. Him being quiet about some of the things should have been enough. But the Democrats wanted this man to get on a platform with all these white folks that was going to vote for him and say, I condemn the people that are going to vote me in. That's just not smart business.
Right.
That's just not smart business. So if he gets into office and then he does things that will assist you, you don't want to hear it though. So you don't want to hear about certain forms of criminal reform. You know, we don't want to talk about the fact that you know, our Second Amendment as Black people has been withheld from us for a long time in history, and that gun control, as my boy Maj might say, is racist because its history is set in racism, i.e. the reason why California can't has strict gun laws now. Once the Black Panthers started walking around with their guns, next thing you know, they want to create all these extra gun laws. So you know, HBCU funding, the whole, what was it called, HB1. Yeah, the visas, right? That stop these companies from being able to hire in Indians and outsource these specialty positions to other countries, right? And not particularly the wall, because I think the wall was a dumb idea, right? but his whole belief in stopping the illegal immigration, these are all things that help Black America.
I'm talking about help the fuck out of
Black America. All right. So now we got a president that gave us lip service, right? And some of the first things he did was create hate crimes, hate bills against slapping an Asian person. We don't got none of that for Black people. We've been in a situation for 400 years, right? Some of the first things he did was sign in to get, what was it? 200,000 or some shit like that, illegal immigrants citizenship, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that he's doing, right? And those and all those illegal immigrants are going to do is create situations to take jobs that Black folks could be getting, lower those wages, and so on and so forth, right? Here's another one that we overlook. We overlook the fact that how many Black folks you know don't got an ID, bro?
There's not a gang of them, but I know.
Not a gang of them, right? How many Black folks you know don't at least have a license or an identification card or a social security card? I don't know. I don't know any, bro. Be 100 with you.
I know.
I don't know any, but you might know a couple, right? But I would argue the majority of the Black folks in America, majority of the Black Americans here have at least one of those.
Right.
So who are these people that you're talking about don't have all these IDs in all these places and you still want them to vote? Huh. That sounds like immigrants to me. That sounds like maybe even illegals to me. That don't sound like Black Americans that don't have ID or can't or don't have access to get IDs to vote. And these are things that are all being perpetrated under the guise of, oh, it's for Black folks. It's for Black folks. No, it's so Juan, who just came over the border, can go over there with an address and vote. That's what it's for. So who is Juan voting for? Juan's voting Republican. And what is Juan checking on the census? Juan's checking Caucasian. But who's the main people rah-rahing for DACA and to get these people the ability to come over here illegally?
White Republican.
White Republicans are the ones that's rah-rahing for them to come over here. They trying to stop that shit. Black
No,
folks,
I'm thinking you saying rah-rah for them to not.
Oh, like for them not to. Nah, yeah.
Yeah.
But who are they over? The people who are over here for that shit? A whole bunch of Black folks.
Mm-hmm.
It's whole intersectionality shit that's fucking us up. You know what I'm saying? So, we gotta all that. We kind of went off the rails with that one, but at the end of the day, we have to have the ability to infiltrate and position ourselves. I disagree that we are in those positions, but I wholeheartedly agree that we have the ability to be in those positions. If we learn how to play the game. There's tons of places that have put a commercial out for Black folks, and then once they get that money, they fund the Republican Party because they know how to play the game.
They know how to play the game. Tax bracket changes.
You know what I'm saying?
About how your tax brackets operate, the Republicans are for the niggas with more money.
So,
that's all education. You know what I'm saying? Because most niggas who are unaware about that type of shit just aren't educated on how this shit works. They don't watch and know who the fuck is doing what with how the fuck their money come in. Most of us are operating in that realm of low money. So that's what the fuck we fighting for.
Right.
And I get it, you know what I'm saying? But I just, I challenge motherfuckers to be more educated about how the fuck their money is distributed, where it's going to when it's taken from them, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to just fucking siding with somebody because everybody else did it.
Yeah,
And our whole culture is guilty of that shit.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, we can talk about what killed black business in the first place. So we already know that we're able to do these things. You feel me? It's just what we find value in. We find value in the popular opinions. We find value in white acceptance, even when we act like and we flex like we don't. And then also we find value in the acceptance of everybody's opinion. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the bigger picture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got this issue going on right now. I know you've seen the pictures, and I've seen the pictures. You feel me? Of this whole Serena Williams thing, like you know, she went from chocolate to like my complexion, nigga. Everybody know, you know what I'm saying? She went from chocolate to my complexion.
So I've been waiting on more pictures to surface because I don't want to like prematurely judge that shit. And it could have been makeup and camera. That was the fucking issue. Because I only seen that one picture.
Oh, I won't doubt that it's probably makeup. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, you know, she might be bleaching her skin. I don't know. But you know, the pictures that I'm seeing, it just looked like it's mainly her face more than anything. And it was a few pictures. It wasn't one, it was like two.
I only saw that one where she was like sitting outside on the fucking porch swing or some dumb shit, and the face was weird, like with her legs crossed.
Right. I seen two.
You know,
it was her. It was that one, and there was one with her husband with this crazy looking half blonde weave and with her skin looking mad light skin too.
And see, that
only on her face.
That speaks to the larger issue that we have in our own community with just fucking body dysmorphia with acceptance and all this other shit. And it's like, and granted, bro, they're not alone in this shit because a lot of niggas have grown to a point where that's what they want to accept. I haven't reached that point in my life, bro, so I'm completely confused about it every time I see it because I ain't at a point where I want you to have long wavy ass hair that's not your own and makeup and all this other shit. But I know that there's niggas out here who press that issue. And there's niggas out here with a larger voice than mine. And that's the thing.
I'm tired of blaming everybody but the people who are at fault. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so one, Serena Williams posted the picture and then unposted. So for me to think that the picture is like manipulated or something like that, you know, I don't think that it is. Is it bleaching? Is it makeup? I don't know. All I know is
think
that
it's makeup.
It shows...
I think that she thought she looked all right and then look fucked up, took the shit down. Because I just need to see more of it though. You feel me? You know, like when Sammy did that shit, it was like, oh shit, we caught Sammy out with a hat on. But you know, right after that, another 40 pictures of Sammy in regular everyday life where people was catching his ass, like surfaced. So it wasn't no doubt that Sammy did that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then it came to a point where Sammy showed up on her interview and was like, you know, I've been living in fucking Dubai or whatever, and there's a variation in treatment depending on your color, and I was using this cream and shit. Like Sammy said that shit, right? But up until then, bro, the only reason why Sammy and her are different is because I know how to fuck. And me and you both know how to fuck makeup or make a bitch look on camera.
Right.
And I've said it to chicks that I know, and it's like, hey man, you look foolish as fuck. Your face glowing and shit, like pale as
mad
fuck.
lighter than the rest of your body.
You know what I'm saying? And bitches will be like, well, that's just the concealer or whatever the fuck they call it. You know what I'm saying? But you know what you look like. Like you saw that picture. Why was that not an issue? As niggas, we just more practical. And it's like, hey man, if I look foolish as fuck on the picture, I'm not gonna post it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think, but see, the problem is that if you don't even know that you're looking foolish. I mean, and at the end of the day, I don't think she bleached herself. You know what I mean? But I do think that, you know, she was trying to use makeup potentially to lighten her skin. And even if she wasn't, right? You know, and it was an accident. All the arguments that I'm seeing still take away the accountability of the women. Because let's be real, bro. I'm not a non-believer of colorism, But we can't act like there's not a plethora of chocolate dark-skinned women that are celebrated in Black America. And she is one of them. Kelly Rowlands is one of them. You know what I'm saying? Serena Williams is one of them. You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Repeat that. Repeat that.
Is more celebrated.
Still not dominant. You know what I mean? And I'm saying like it's still not there's enough of it that we can say like realistically they are celebrated. It's just still not dominant at this point. But I don't want to pretend like they're not being celebrated. But of course, they're not holding onto the same fucking grip as a Beyonce or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But
come on,
whatever.
bro.
Personal preference, bro. We can't challenge niggas.
Like Lupita Nyong'o, beautiful. Angela Bassett has been celebrated since as long as I can remember, bro. And she's still fucking gorgeous. Bro.
Hey, don't put Lupita in no category with Angela Bassett, bro.
What are you talking about in terms of color?
Angela Bassett is timeless, bro. First of all, Angela Bassett like fucking 55.
It don't matter. What I'm saying is it's proving my point even more, bro. Like there might be groups of people out here that might not appreciate dark skin, but when you're on the cover, when you're on the cover of Vogue and when you're on the cover of all these magazines, and the rappers are saying your name and putting you in a video and trying to date you, and people are celebrating your beauty as a dark-skinned woman. At what point does your own personal bias come into play upon the decisions that you might make? I'll give you an example. We all know people that were fit and slim, right? And then you say it's body dysmorphia, right? Which I think is potentially true. So if you're fit, slim, and everything like that, then we all know the big buff dude who everybody say, bro, you big, and he feel like he's small, so he got to get bigger. Or the slender woman who look in the mirror and see a fat woman. It don't matter who tell her how she gorgeous. She always gonna sit in the mirror and see a fat woman. Right. That's not everybody around her's fault. That is something that's going on with her. I don't think there's nothing that you can say to somebody who just doesn't see the beauty in themselves that's gonna make them see the beauty in themselves. They just gotta see it.
Now on that end, the only thing that you can say is nothing, right? Because what they're experiencing is that influx of information from the outside world that creates an illusion to them. And they create, manifest, and alter that illusion, but it comes from an outside source, right? Like, I don't think that, a nigga who's big as fuck feels like he needs to get bigger until somebody says that to him. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, now he's given an opportunity to compare that shit. Because the first thing you're going to notice about a nigga who big as fuck having a conversation with somebody about how big he is he wants to know who you consider big. And if you consider somebody else bigger than him, that's his goal now. Like, these niggas is just going to continue. Same shit with chicks. Like, I know 2 chicks right now that's gotten those BBLs or gotten, you know what I'm saying, in their ass and their titties and shit, who was like stacked ass women though. You feel me? And I'm talking about like stack. Not like, I'm talking about like IG model stack. But it's like at the point where they feel like they were dominant at some point and doing something. So now what we feel like, me and you and like-minded individuals, what we feel like has become distorted into some other shit. And they don't see it as being or whatever. And there's bitches who even, and I'll take that a little further, there's bitches who verbalize like, man, that ass looks fake as fuck. And they'll go do it also. You know what I'm saying? But I think that they've gone into a point where, I don't know if you able to do it, but I ain't able to comprehend what the fuck you seeing in yourself that you feel like you need to go further, because these is like beautiful bitches. And I know that's subjective, and I know that we feel a way.
That's why it's a mental illness. You know what I'm saying? Body dysmorphia is real. Muscular dysmorphia is real.
Would you take it to a point where it's comparative to transgenderism?
I think that's dysmorphia as well. Yeah. Most definitely. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing something in you that you feel like is abnormal or shouldn't be this way, or that you are inadequate to a certain capacity and something that you want to change. I mean, there's literally a dysmorphia in which people want they feel like in their head they amputees and they end up cutting off limbs or trying to get doctors to cut off body parts. I mean, the brain is a weird thing.
I want to be able to get a transgender on here to talk with us, bro, because I want to understand, like, because there's no way in hell I can go out here and like you pull up on me one day and I come walking out of the house with a collar on my neck and somebody holding a leash trying to hold me back. And I say, yeah, man, I just want to let you know from henceforth, I identify as a tiger. And there's no way in hell you're going to be able to look at me, though. You know what I'm saying? But like you're not going to look at me and be like, all right, bro, whatever, let's go ahead and hit the spot. And we pull up to a club and I come in there on that tiger shit and niggas not going to say, hey, this nigga crazy as fuck. What is he talking about? But if I say that shit about a transgender, it's an issue. You want to be feminine and you know, if you want to be a man and be feminine and dress like a woman and feel like you're a woman, just know that like you're a dude that feels and dresses like a woman though. Like you don't get to as a fucking woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't get to I don't get to be a tiger. Now if I want to identify that way, whatever.
The thing about logic isn't subjective, it's objective, right? And there's no your logic and my logic. Logic has rules.
It's universal. It exists.
Yeah, logic has rules that it fits. And, you know, those arguments can only come up when it's how well does your argument fit the rules of logic versus my argument fitting the rules of logic. All right. So, but if it doesn't fit certain rules, it's not logical. And so the thing about logic also is it works both ways. It works if something is a logical argument one way, generally it's going to be a logical argument the other way around. So when you say things like, who are you to tell somebody what they are? That's one. You can't tell somebody how to identify. You don't know what's going on in their head or in their body or blah, blah, blah. That's two. And then try to dictate what a third party,
oh, it's hot over there.
Yeah. Then try to dictate what a third party, right? Call this person. That's what, 3 or 4. I forget what I was on. Anyway, all right. Now let's do the same thing with transracial, right? Because Rachel Dolezal, she thought she was a black person. She identified as a black person.
Everybody
right?
thought she was black.
Everybody clowned her and said that you can't do that. You can't just identify as a black person. Why? Because you haven't experienced the life of a black person. So Jenner, who didn't, have that change until he was a 50-year-old man. He's experienced
Bruce Jenner. Okay.
Bruce Jenner. He's experienced the life of a woman. If you can be transsexual, you can be transracial.
I don't want to include Bruce Jenner, bro.
Why?
I don't want to include Bruce Jenner for 2 reasons. First of all, Bruce Jenner hasn't spoken out to make the full-on argument for transgenderism real. And Bruce Jenner just spoke out and said that he don't think that the motherfuckers should be able to compete in women's sports.
Well, that's him.
So bro, but he's not disillusioned to the fact that he's actually a man and just wants to do this. So I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
On it.
But the thing about a lot of trans people in general anyway is that they all have different beliefs. So you have trans people who believe that they have a dysmorphia. Do you have trans people who just believe they were actually born in the wrong body and they are what they are? You have trans people who don't believe that they are real women. They believe that they are trans women. And then you have other way around.
Believing you're born in the wrong body don't always equate to trans. That a lot of times that shit just equates to when they extended the LGBT shit into having sissies. That's just what that is.
Well, the cis thing is not. It means now the cis thing means naturally born.
No. Sissy. Like, remember
Oh,
how we used to say sissy when we was younger?
but
So
them dudes know they do. Like I know feminine gay dudes who they know they a dude though. They
yeah,
don't, you
but
know what I mean?
they
Like
think
in
they like
conversation,
they think that
they
they were
might
born into
no,
the
no.
wrong body to the extent that they're the feminine aspect of the relationship. Not like they think they're a woman, but in the event that sex happens, they know that they're who's getting fucked.
Yeah, but I
Which
mean
is
they
which
don't they
is
wouldn't I don't think they would argue that they was born in the wrong body. They was born as a boy and they thought they should have been born as a girl. They identify as gay men, feminine gay men. And that's why I think a lot of these trans folks is. I think they feminine gay men are masculine gay women. And in all honesty, the stats tell you the same thing. A lot of these trans women, they get the change and then they go back. It's harder for a man to because they end up having to get, they might get their genitalia cut off or something like that.
so Psych Journal published some shit saying was that some of those transitions back into their original state were because like a lot of those motherfuckers were getting those. So there would be a situation, right, where a man was dealing with a cross, somebody looked like a dude, but he just dressed like a woman and acted like a woman. And there was pressure on those situations to the point where those motherfuckers would go full on trans, get surgeries or whatever to become a woman, and then lose the complete affection of the man that was, because those niggas' attraction was to the fucking
a feminine man, right?
as opposed to you actually being a woman. And
But
I don't know the
also,
full statistics, but there was that said that created a lot of fucking confusion and how niggas was able to with the people around them that were in their day, because what they felt like was what the niggas wanted just wasn't, because there's some niggas that's just gay. You feel me? And if you turn yourself into a woman, he's not gay anymore. And his attraction is lost because
quote
what that
unquote.
nigga wanted.
Yeah.
But that's what the fuck they wanted. And then that's a
Right.
whole nother fucking idea. That's a whole nother line of thought psychologically that you have to deal with and interpret. Because now transgenderism, and as far as like their attraction and interaction with what we consider the fucking, it's like at that point you're a straight male. Like even if it's a transgender and they full on become what we consider a woman, like, even if it's a doctored up vagina, you know what I'm saying? Like mentally you're not fucking with you're not sleeping with a man. So it's like,
they not because they believe that once you get the sex change, you're now a woman.
Yeah.
Like now
the
me,
niggas they were dealing
if
with,
you tell me, you know what I'm saying?
oh yeah,
If you tell me, you feel me? So it just depends on your your ideology in the first place, right? So I get what you're saying. Like they have
the niggas you getting that surgery for, like, want to fuck you and there be a penis up front. Like he might not want to suck on your dick. The whole taboo behind it, and I say taboo, man, and that's what I actually mean, but I don't want to say it publicly, but the taboo behind it is knowing you fucking a man and you shouldn't be doing it, so you disguise it as a bitch. Like, my nigga, you doing some shit and that's your nature, and for me that's gay. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't want to identify that way, if you want to call it something else, call it what you want to call it. But when you approach me about it, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about the transgender shit. And these battles go so deep, my nigga. Like, we go from, because I can accept if you're going to be a transgender, I just want you to accept that I know that you are a transgender. You feel me? So at whatever point, if you feel like you want to be addressed as a man, and I know you a sir, I don't need your attitude about me addressing you as a sir, because it's what you are. And I say that shit to say that, I've dealt with minor shit. You feel me? This shit don't affect my life or whatever, but I got daughters and shit. So when we have a conversation and somebody bring up the fact that legislation is passed where, a transgender can use the women's restroom. And I got daughters that are old enough to go in the restroom by themselves, but they're not old enough to defend themselves against a grown ass man.
Right.
So if I speak out and say, my nigga, you need to go to the men's restroom the same way the rest of us adult ass men go, because transgenderism don't negate pedophilia. You feel me? It don't erase, because some of these transgenders are not strictly into sex.
I mean, because you can be apparently just like Kris Jenner, right? You can go get the sex change and still want to deal with women. You know what I'm
still
saying?
wanted to keep fucking with Chris. And then her name, the wife.
Yeah.
But she just opted out of that situation. But bro never challenged his affection for her. She was just like, nah, nigga, this too weird. You know what I'm saying? But my nigga, at a point, you know, speaking back on that shit, like, nah, I don't think that you should be allowed as an adult male, especially with transgender being so fucking open that it don't require a surgery. So you still got a dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that you should be nowhere near a fucking bathroom where I got my daughters in there.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
and even in the prison system, they're sticking trans men in the prison system with women. And there are situations going on where women prisoners are saying that they've been raped by the transgender inmates. You know what I mean? And there's no boundaries on these things, right? It's not like, oh, now you're really trans because you got your junk cut off. I mean, you can
Right.
literally not go through any type of transition from taking estrogen to getting your junk cut off to even wearing a wig. You could be a full-on grown-ass man in a beard, wearing jeans and Timberlands. You know what I'm saying? And say you're a woman. And it's just supposed to be accepted. You feel me? But we're gonna we should do a whole nother podcast on that one. But the purpose of saying that was, I was talking about the whole Kris Jenner thing, and that, well, no, actually, I was talking about the Rachel Dolezal situation and how, nobody accepted that. You can't say you can be transracial, you can be transsexual, but you can't say you can be transracial. It doesn't make logical sense. The same things apply. That man don't know what it's like to be a woman. That white woman don't know what it's like to be a black woman. And I would almost argue that white woman knew more of what it was like to be a black woman than that man knew what it was like to be a woman, because until it came out by her family member, people was accepting this white woman like she was a black woman.
Well, and her idea of it was just a miseducation. Like, her feeling like she knew what it was like to be a black woman was probably more transcultural than transracial. Like, if you grew up in similar circumstances of what you thought it meant to be a black woman, then granted, you might have a different understanding of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you grew up in a lower class community and she grew up with black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, she showed like little pictures of her being younger and shit. And if that's the people you grew up with, then, whatever.
Nah, you didn't watch the joint with her. You didn't watch the joint with her in it. She had a whole documentary. She ain't grow up like that. She grew up with she had like one black like nanny or some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
I seen some shit with the pictures of her with some like black kids like her age, like not young, but probably like 20, 18, around at that age of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you talking about college? You went to a black college.
Granted, for some people that's enough, bro. We all know that motherfuckers like turn into whole motherfucking different people on that college level. You feel me? But I'm not saying that it's some shit that me and you gonna understand or some shit that we gonna adapt and have similar parallel fucking circumstances with. But for some people, that's enough. And we both know that shit. Some people are way more influenced by shit and adapt and absorb a whole lot of shit later in life because they haven't established their own identity yet. She's wrong as fuck for the shit.
I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying, regardless of what it is, she can call it transracial. You know what I'm saying? If this white woman from Germany wants to go get all this melanin implanted in her and, kink up her hair and get these fake lips and this wide nose because she says she want to be black, you can't tell her she can't be black. If you can tell a man he can be a woman.
I think that bitch just racist.
You can't tell somebody that and it makes sense. And then
Right.
You can go tell a man he can be a woman. Logic would apply to both. The same rules of logic applies to both. And if it doesn't fit one, in that sense, it don't fit the other. We're not comparing apples and oranges. We're comparing the same concept of an individual not being something.
Why can't food be compared?
That they are. Why can't food be compared?
What you're saying. I ain't knocking it, dog, but there are varying degrees of that shit. I don't necessarily feel like either is right. I don't feel like either is wrong for the sake of fucking argument. I just feel like we be like having conversations, like logical people have conversations like there's not a whole world of fucking illogical people out here. Like the average motherfucker, what we think is average, like there's always gonna be something in there where we gonna be like, man, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? That's just the nature of like the variations of fucking mental processing. You feel me? Like there's so many fucking ways of interpreting just information and doing what the fuck you want to do with it internally. That niggas is just gonna have different ways of viewing, operating, and doing shit. And we ain't gonna never understand all that shit, man. At some point, you just gotta kind of let people be, which is my full belief in it. My nigga, if you want to operate as a woman and you a dude, I'm gonna operate as a dude that know you a dude, and you just need to respect that shit also. Like, I don't need you to challenge me and try to go get legislation passed where I got to get a fine, as shit they did in Canada, where you can get fined for fucking not identifying somebody as what the fuck they want to be identified as. And it's like, nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe in shit like that. If you're a dude and you want to be a chick and we know that you're a dude and I address you as a dude, that shouldn't be a crime the same way we don't have to make it a crime for you to go do the shit that you're doing. Like, let everybody fucking live if you're going to do it.
Right, but once you start creating legislation, though, that affects other people on your life, like, so even outside of that, right, even outside of, oh, you know, you're getting fined if you call this person sir if they're a woman, right? We're still having legislation being passed where trans people are allowed to play in trans women that were once men are being allowed to play in women athletics. Or there's no legislation saying, there's no rule saying that this person who went and got their ID changed, got their junk cut off, but still carries the XY chromosome, has to tell you that they were born a man. So you can marry this woman, quote unquote, and, you know, 5 years into it, you wondering why you ain't made no babies yet. You know what I mean? And they don't have to tell you that they were born a man. You divorce that motherfucker, you still gonna have to pay your alimony, or you know what I'm saying, and all the other kind of shit. Like that, like they just trick the fuck out of you. So you know, it can affect people's day-to-day lives. You know what I'm saying? If it didn't, it would be like whatever. Like, do what you do. If it just was down to, you know, a social thing, that would be different. But once you start creating rules and policies, like you said, you got daughters. What if your daughter want to go play ball and she real good at it? And she could get a scholarship to go to college because majority of black folks in this country can't pay for their kids to go to college. So now she want to go play ball, and the team being overran because the best ball players on the team was trans women that used to be boys. That was just the failures of they high school league. So she can't even play ball.
Yeah, you got to keep it separated. So I would be more prone to let you fucking create another league. If you want to have women's, men's, and trans, have your own shit. But I don't believe that you should be competing with women.
Right.
That's garbage as fuck.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But we got all off subject, man. You know what I'm saying? The whole issue was the whole Serena Williams thing. And I really think that regardless of what the issue is, be her bleaching, be her wearing lighter skinned foundation, or whatever it is, right? The blame at this point, I don't feel like should be on everybody, right? It always wants to come down to, oh, we didn't celebrate dark-skinned black women enough. And Serena Williams in black culture has been celebrated. And she's celebrated amongst women and men for various different reasons. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
You see who she married. She wants to be celebrated by them.
Exactly. It's who she wants to be celebrated by. And so it's the same way how, you know, we had our black businesses, and once we got once we were able to use white businesses and white buses and things like that, we completely switched, and we traded on ourselves. We didn't appreciate ourselves enough. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it just comes down to the individual. You feel me? Bro, I don't know not a one person alive, bro, that was looking at Lil' Kim when Lil' Kim first came out and was like this ugly black ass bitch. Just the motherfucker that she wanted didn't want her. He wanted like he wanted light skinned fake Evans.
Right.
You feel me? And so it didn't matter who the fuck you were. You couldn't tell Lil' Kim shit about what she wanted to do. She wanted to do what the fuck she wanted to do, and now she looked like a little Asian woman. You can't blame black men and black society on her decisions to do that. Not in the culture where we have a lot of beautiful dark-skinned black sisters out here that are living in it, loving it. You know what I'm saying? And being celebrated.
But that's what we feel like they should be comparing themselves to, and that's not. Like these bitches, bro. A lot of these bitches are still in the understanding. Like I've spoken to a bitch recently, and she like, yeah, you know, I got that good hair, that white people hair, and it's like that stringy shit. You feel me? And it's like, you know, for me mentally, I'm like, nah, good hair is that curly kind of kinky, thick, dark shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the black shit, right?
That strong ass shit too.
So you feel me? These bitches don't even understand like what they saying, and it takes for you to say it to them. And there's times where I've said this shit, and I've said it to somebody a little further out, recent though. You know what I'm saying? And they was like, "Nah, I mean, you gotta struggle to do this, do that." And I'm like, "Shit, you better go pay attention to what the fuck's really going on. Like, ain't nothing good about having no oily ass, stringy hair that's standing out at the top." And these bitches got beautiful, luscious, thick heads of fucking hair that's just amazing, though. You feel me?
Right.
And a bitch will come back to you like 2 months later, like, man, you know what? I get what you're saying. And it's like, and I don't know for sure that, you know, that equates to a bitch wanting to be relevant to what your ideas, some shit just for acceptance, or if they actually came to a revelation about that shit. But my nigga, I don't personally, and I know a lot of niggas who feel the same way, but we don't personally celebrate your idea of beauty and shit being equivalent to the white version of yourself. Like we don't do that shit. You know, you come over like, yeah, I got nose like the white people, it's thin and beautiful. We like, nah, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't no fucking mark of beauty. You know what I'm saying? Like celebrate what the fuck you got, but I want a wide nose, thick lip, thick, dark ass hair, curvaceous ass body bitch, though. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't even got to be dumb ass curvaceous, but even if you slim, I want to know some hips and that motherfucker shit like that, bro. Like the shit that we know and the shit that you automatically attracted to. You feel me? I often operate that way. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people who feel like they've talked themselves into you know what I'm saying, an attraction to what the fuck was given to them, but nigga, I know what I'm naturally attracted to. It ain't always what I get. You know what I'm saying? It ain't. I mean, always...
and then you know, but sometimes it just comes down to what you want, right? Like I said, you can tell a female anything. 88 million men can see her and call this woman beautiful, but if the one or two that she want don't think she beautiful, she ain't gonna think she beautiful.
Facts.
And so you know, that's what it boiled down to. So and then what would happen is she'll try to make all these changes to accommodate these two men that don't think she's beautiful. And then when that backfires on her, all the women are gonna point out all the dudes and say, this is y'all fault. And it is not the case.
I mean, women are disillusioned, bro, in general. Like, they don't know what to align with. You feel me? At one point, it's like, let's band together and figure this shit out. But if the leader of them decides to go the other route, they all fall into that shit. And that's where, and as black men, bro, we feel inclined to fucking chase that shit and pull them back. But at some point, man, I be feeling like, bro, just let them bitches go. Because it's enough hanging back saying, yeah, I don't know what the fuck them bitches talking about. I'm here.
Right.
And I'd rather just stay back.
I don't disagree at all with that.
Like that pool is big enough for all of us to be fucking happy in it. And let them superficial ass, extra, I can't deal with myself bitches go, bro. Let them just go do what they do.
Okay, so, but you know, I don't disagree, right? At some point, you gotta let it go. You know, back to Stokely Carmichael. Stokely Carmichael said, you know, we got a lot of people that are doing, you know, the wrong thing. or who don't know the information, and we're gonna try and try and try and try and try again to get them on point and on the same page. And then we're gonna try and try again. And if that don't work, we're gonna try again. And if it don't work again, we're gonna off them. We gonna have to cut them loose. And I agree with that. So I don't agree that we shouldn't put in any effort. But if it starts slowing down the train, you know what I'm saying? If we're gonna have to keep moving. You feel me? We can't slow down the progress because we already so far behind. That goes for the women and the men. You know what I'm saying? Because a zombie don't want to be a zombie, but a zombie's still a zombie. And if you let a zombie prosper, he's gonna make 2-3 more motherfucking zombies. You know what I'm saying? So regardless if they want to be that way or not, or they have a choice or not, you gotta cut them off. You gotta cut them loose, or they're gonna create more people with that same mentality, and there's not gonna be no forward progress. You know what I'm saying? And we got this idea that we can save everybody, and the truth is we can't. And as much as we might love Serena Williams, the people who celebrated her isn't who she wanted to be with. And
hey, the crazy shit?
Isn't who she clearly want to be married to, reproduce with, or none of that.
You want to know the crazy shit? Like, I was always a Kelly. Kelly wasn't even my first choice out of Destiny's Child, but she was the one that stayed. It was the other little dark skin with I can't remember their names, whatever, but everybody knew it was other members in there. When Venus and Serena came out, like, I was always like, shit, Serena got them yams though, right?
Right.
But my inclination was always Venus, bruh. And I feel like I'll never see Venus show the fuck up on no picture with this pale face. So you feel me? Like, sometimes I'll be wondering, like, nigga, was my first selection generally the right selection? And generally, over time with how I look back at shit, it's been what I should have fucking stuck with. But at a point, I was like, man, fuck that shit. Serena fucking got dominant. And not only did she just become better with the craft, but she just became more appealing physically. I'll say that, but Venus was just not in the spotlight as much. She's not an unattractive woman. She just wants Serena. Right. You know what I'm saying? And Serena was coming out in cat suits and shit, and with the yams out of the bottom of the tennis skirt because couldn't nothing hold her shit. But nigga, initially, bro, I will say that Venus was my first fucking pick, bro. And even with the minor, you remember 708?
Yeah.
Remember that little group?
70, was it 708 or 702?
702, some shit, 3LW and shit. Like, remember when Notori was in that shit from Power?
Right.
I used to be like, man, that was cold though, right?
Who was that? What group was that?
That's 3LW, right?
3LW, yeah.
You feel me? But niggas was like, nah, the little light skinned bitch. Like I had never been. And me and you have had these conversations before, years ago. You feel me? But dark skinned women was all. And I would somehow fall into these conversations with niggas, and I ain't gonna say get talked into, but I would be given a better view of what the fuck they felt was beautiful. Like, and niggas was always like, yeah, I want these light-skinned bitches, blah, blah, blah. Even when I was growing up, bro, when I was younger, it was always darker bitches, you feel me? But at some point I made some ill-advised ass decisions and ventures into that fucking realm. And I regretted that shit every fucking time, dog. I ain't gonna say every time, but more often than not. You feel me? And looking back at it, those are the bitches that even now to this day, the ones that I still know and are able to communicate with, or they dealt with more adversity as far as like how they were able to deal with themselves because niggas weren't accepting of them. You feel me? And the dark skinned chicks grew up as the ugly chick. It was like the African booty scratcher bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was that chick. And it was like, shit, somebody in the back of niggas' head was like, hey, be patient, bro. Watch what happened when she turned like 22. And she know how to fuck to wear her hair or what to do. And these bitches blossomed, though. They was like them swans, bro. Remember the ugly duckling story and shit? Like, they weren't like fucked up and bad. They was just like little. And they grew into some whole other shit. And now niggas is like trying to make that wave and come back around. But these bitches has already been like, it had already been pounded into their head that they're not the attractive ones. and it's not what niggas want. So they've been spending a whole lot of time trying to adjust. So at this point, we like having an issue with the fact that nigga now they got enough money to alter that appearance, and they doing that shit. You feel me? But like, are we able to really say that they should just be able to switch that shit off and just go right back into, nah, nigga, they said I'm beautiful now. Like, this shit's been ingrained in them since their youth. You feel me? Like, even with niggas, like, motherfuckers tell us
you got a point there.
6'2". You know, we supposed to be 6'2", 220 with abs and shit. Niggas are way more inclined to be accepting of who we are. So we'll be like, yeah, man, I'm gonna work out and shit and get my shit together. Bitch is still fucking me at 6 foot, 260 though. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I ain't about to do no extra shit. I'm not gonna go get no surgery to create no abs and shit. Like, I'll flatten my stomach up a little bit, but bitch, y'all still on. But I'm not gonna do no drastic shit. You feel me? And right. I don't know a nigga. You feel me? The same way. I mean, even with dark skinned niggas, like, they blossomed. You feel me? And bitches used to be like, man, get your ugly black ass off me and shit. And now all they want is a dark nigga. You feel me? But on the same token, bro, nigga.
Yeah, I was holding on for a minute, bro. I was like, man, light skinned niggas ain't out of style, man. Man, listen.
Light skinned niggas out of style.
It's hard out here for us nowadays, man. You know what I'm saying? It's hard out here, nigga.
Light skinned niggas coming in and play.
And if you was a
bitch think she want a baby with curly hair.
If you was a light skinned nigga, if you was a light skinned nigga, bro, you gotta have like a full ass beard or some shit, nigga. And one, I can't grow it anyway. And then two, nigga, I'm a firefighter. I'm not even allowed to grow the one that I can grow no more, bro.
You know me, bro. I exist in that realm that don't even fucking matter. I'm not a dark-skinned nigga or a light-skinned nigga. Because there's bitches that still want a red nigga. I'm just in the middle of that shit. I'm just like, shit, let me make sure my personality on point, or a bitch, ain't no bitch that's gonna fuck with me. You feel me? I meet a bitch and I'm like, God damn, what's up, chocolate? She's like, nah, I need old Boris Chestnut ass nigga. And I'm like, shit, what's up, baby? And she like, nah, your hair ain't curly enough. And I'm like, damn, bitch. I'm walking in circles.
I need a small more. It's like, what the fuck?
You feel me? I gotta make jokes and shit and stand on the table and let these bitches know like I'm funny or something. And they're like, oh yeah, I fucks with bruh. That's my nigga right there. But shit, I don't want to have to do all that.
But you know how this shit go, though.
I want to be fine on paper, though. You feel me?
He said fine on paper. Nah, but you know with all the pro-black sentiment going on these days, you know what I'm saying? It just seems like it's like if you ain't, you know, Omar Epps out this bitch, you feel me? Like, it's like ain't no play. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? You know, we still got our little cult following, you know what I'm saying, for the light-skinned nigga.
Yeah, but, as long as niggas still fucking with you know, Al B. Sure and Justin Bieber and shit, y'all niggas gonna have something. You feel me?
Right.
You don't know what it's like to be in the middle, bruh. The middle is so fucking disheartening, dog. You feel me? Like I don't got the Kevin Durant hair, but it ain't fucking wavy though. You feel me? So bitch don't want to just run her hands through that shit. Ain't chocolate, ain't light, nigga. I don't know what the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just strike.
Listen,
the bitch got to come talk to me. And she just
listen. When I was younger, it was weird. I used to tell myself, like, you know, I would always find myself in meeting, like in reality, right? Like attracted to dark skinned girls, right? Like my first girlfriend, she was light skinned. After that, I haven't had a light skinned girlfriend ever. After that, all my girlfriends been dark skinned, right? But then when it came to like celebrity, you know, i.e. like, you know, I had a thing for J-Lo when I was a kid. You feel me? I was one of the folks that liked the light-skinned girl in 3LW. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But when it came to me, you know, when I became of age and I was actually out dating and everything like that, like I would see like, you know, real life light-skinned girls and I'd be like, yeah. And I'll just see like the dark-skinned chocolate girl, and I'd be like, damn. But I'd still say when people would ask me, you know, I like light-skinned girl. And I was like, reality just didn't fit with what the fuck I was saying. And I really just feel like what I was saying was just out of, that's what everybody said.
Right.
Everybody around me said, oh, I like the light skin girl, I like the light skin girl. And now I look back and it's like I said, I've never dated, I've never had a girlfriend that was light skinned in my life. I think black women are beautiful, but I've never had a light skinned girlfriend, you know, in my life. I gravitate completely more towards, chocolate, dark skinned women. But, it becomes a thing, you know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of people just kind of parrot what they hear. And they don't really even peep. I got some partners who all I've seen them date is white girls. You know what I'm saying? They swear to God that they they don't just have a preference for white girls. And it's like, bro,
them niggas like Sauce Walker, bro. Did you see Sauce Walker?
Nah.
So Sauce said that he only date white women.
Yeah,
Sauce a Houston nigga.
Sauce a whole coon ass nigga though, but
but people why he said it though, right? Because Sauce was like, he ain't got no interest in being with a woman, and the disrespectful shit he gonna do, he can't see himself doing it to a black woman. So he only fuck with the white bitches. As far as like putting them out on the set, getting them bitches to make money and shit like that. And I was like, on a weird ass twist of fucking
on a weird ass twist.
I can't even knock that nigga though. Like I'm looking at this nigga when they first said it, they didn't tell me the whole story. So I was like, damn, because I fuck with Sauce though, and I listen to the music. I'm like, bro, Sauce, nigga, what kind of shit is that? But when he said that shit, I was like, you know what, bro? I don't even knock your fucking approach to this shit. Like, fuck it, bro.
Your logic in a weird ass way. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense. I'm about to hurt these bitches, so I'm gonna hurt them bitches I don't fuck with. All right, bro. Fuck it. And you know you can set these white bitches out, and niggas gonna fuck them and pay them, bro. Go ahead, dog. Do what you doing. I ain't even gonna knock that shit. But it was a weird ass approach to some shit. And I don't know, you know what I'm saying? The average nigga I know who fuck around like that ain't their idea, because they gonna marry these bitches and do shit like that. I don't knock it, you know what I'm saying? That's your preference, but I myself have just been on the other end of it.
Right. Well,
I like them leather black, dog.
If you date white women, you date white women. You know what I'm saying? But I don't. If you date white women, you date white women. But you shit like I don't even fuck them at this point. It's been a minute.
Fuck all women, dog.
You know what I'm saying?
That's just the attraction to women in me. They ain't got shit to do with nothing else, but it won't go past that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fuck. Keep it moving.
Yeah, but I'd never.
It ain't my preference.
I would never marry a white woman ever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or reproduce with a white woman. You know what I'm saying? But
the only thing outside of straight black, dog, good old Brazilian. I'm taking that shit. Because everybody want to fuck with the Brazilians. Them bitches bad.
I'd take a black Brazilian. You know what I'm saying? One of them chocolate Brazilians in beautiful. You know that joint. Hey man, that nigga want to go to Brazil, bro. I was like, damn. Oh, chocolate thing walking on the beach, man. Psh. But anyway, we've been going for like
3 hours.
2 hours now, you know what I'm saying? Anything you want to say in closing?
Nah, man. I think we covered everything, man.
Right. So, again, this is one of our episodes. Leave a comment, a critique. You know what I'm saying? Any ideas y'all got for further conversations? Any arguments you think you have against or for the things that we, say? You know what I'm saying? Me and Tay don't always agree on things. You feel me? And that's okay. So if y'all have some ideas for some discussions, you feel me? Bring them up. You know what I'm saying? Please like, subscribe,
share.
Like, subscribe, share.
If you got a platform and you want to speak, you feel me? If you want to talk, let us know, man. We open to guests that don't want to do 15-minute segments. I hate that I said that shit, man. I apologize, but I said it. Whatever. We're here now. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. We open for this shit. I love a good conversation, a good, healthy, constructive ass debate.
Hey, if you're a
about
trans
what's going
person,
on.
you know what I'm saying? If you're a trans person, you happen to be listening to this. You know what I'm saying? Let's chop it up. Let's have some discussion. You know what I'm saying? If you're down for some open,
If
real
you
ass
a gay
discussion.
person, if you a gay person and you feel like you got more insight on that shit, like if you know anything and you feel like you got more knowledge about it, bring that knowledge though, because I mean we both open to learn too. And if
Yeah, you
there's any
can't come in
side of this
here.
shit,
You can't come in here with no feeling shit though. We want
yeah,
we
don't.
need facts and data, nigga. You ain't coming here with no feeling
If
shit.
you come with your feelings, back it up. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I'm
But
saying?
or at least have a decent enough argument that you can rebuttal the fucking the what we coming back with. Just have a good time though, man. Have a good time.
Right.
Enjoy the conversation. Make valid points. Accept valid points. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to have conversation where it's a nah, I'm against it, but you ain't got shit for it.
Right.
Just make sure everybody able to understand it. You know, if you're gonna come in with dissension, create a side and stand for that shit.
Most definitely. Every opinion is appreciated as long as it's an educated opinion. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? And you know, like I be telling people all the time, you feel me? I don't care, you know, like somebody said they don't like black folks, I want to know why. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you was beat up and jumped and every time you've been you know around black folks it's been a bad situation, you know what I say? Shit, I feel you, bro. I probably wouldn't like black folks either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know,
Facts.
you know, I'm not against any belief system as long as you can explain why you believe that way. You know, I might not agree with you, but you know, it is what it is, and we can have that conversation, talking facts as to why that should be the way you think, or why not. I
But
mean,
I'm
but
okay. I'm
a lot of
okay.
people
But
get
if you
offended; they
don't
get in
know,
their feelings if you disagree.
if you don't know why you feel that way, and you able to say that you just don't fucking know, I'm okay with that.
Right,
Just say it
right,
though, but don't hold your point and don't have nothing behind it. You not knowing why you feel away, whatever, bro. You feel that way because I can't explain to you why I like women. You feel me? So I'm
shit. I
not
can
gonna go into
explain why I
detail.
like beautiful ass chocolate man.
But you know, like
You see, man.
inherently, I'm just heterosexual, dog. I can't go into detail about, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why I like vanilla ice cream over chocolate ice cream. You know what I'm saying? But I just know that I'd rather eat vanilla ice cream. It's just the way I feel.
Right, right.
You know, if you feel a certain way, then feel that shit. But say that. Don't try to come on here and come with that because we gonna pull them pistols and shoot back at your ass. So you better be ready.
You know what I'm saying? And not cry
Yeah.
and get off the line. But anyway, all right. But yeah, so again, you feel me? Like, follow, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Spread,
Share.
share. You know, leave a comment, statement. Dislike if you dislike. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever. You feel me? Just we need some interaction. So,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
this is Tay from the Bay.
I'm a revolutionary.
It's the real Tay.
You know what I'm saying? It's another episode of Power, Powder, and Dollars. Holla.
Hey, we out.
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, if I'm gone, I'm going in a blaze of glory. Middle finger to the niggas that did nothing for me. Revolutionary suicide, Malcolm X. I ain't tripping off niggas, it's on that stupid shit. I be on that militant mind, that revolution shit. I spit the real, niggas better get used to this. I kill beats and murder whatever booth I'm in. I ain't talking peace, I ain't on that Martin Luther shit. Cause when you black, they bustin' no matter who you with. Yeah, these niggas live fast and they die young.